You said, Amy?
Not yet, it's still booting up.
There must be a time lag when we see it and, right?
Yeah, there's a 20-second time
Okay.
lag. You said, Amy?
Yes.
Okay. I move to.
That was me saying, are we set 20 seconds ago?
Okay.
But that's okay. Are we muted?
I move to exit executive session.
Okay, I will second. And for roll call,
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
yes,
Kathleen.
Yes,
Is there action?
no action.
no action.
Okay.
All right, let's stand at ease for a couple of minutes before the 9:45 tax budget hearing.
Todd's back in.
All right. Let's call the Portage County tax budget public hearing to order. This public hearing is being held today to hear public comment regarding Portage County fiscal year 2021 tax budget. The tax budget has been on display in the Portage County Commissioner's Office and the Portage County Auditor's Office and available for public viewing since June 25th, 2020. Notice of this public hearing was published on June 26th, 2020 in the Record Courier newspaper. Do we have public comment and/or questions?
You know, Todd, I was glad to see your second revision because on account 5245, I had a question on that because it went down so much, but then you put it back up to where it originally is,
Mhm.
57. Okay.
Yeah, I was misreading my table when I typed that this morning quickly.
Okay.
There are other ways to handle these changes, and originally in my notes, I had to just deal with it at the end of the year. But then I got to thinking last night, if there would be another COVID spike and we would continue to be on these altered schedules into November, December, rather than putting that extra stress and risking having something not happen, it might just be easiest to get these done now. And so I apologize for rushing them through at the last minute, but I just kind of decided that last night. These are the water resources debt funds, and those are the amounts that we're going to pay. There's nothing unusual about these amounts. I don't know if you want me to read them during the public session or if you just want to incorporate the document I gave you into the minutes.
What do you think, Kathleen?
Need to do, Todd?
I'm sorry, that was broken up.
What do we need to do in order to make sure that the
So what I
changes?
So in the public hearing, I would, as a public comment from myself, make the suggestion that these changes be made to the tax budget. And then once the meeting is concluded, I would ask that you pass the tax budget incorporating the suggested revisions as outlined during the public hearing.
Okay.
With these being the only changes that have been brought forward, I haven't received any other comments, and I don't believe anyone else has.
I just had a question on 5278, Todd. We changed it
Yes.
from 15,000 to 7,500.
That is the final payment, and usually we make 2 payments a year, and in June of next year, it will be paid off, so there won't be a December payment.
Okay. And the last one, 5676.
Same thing.
Okay,
It's going to be paid off in June of next year.
okay. Good enough.
Hey, thanks,
Todd,
Todd.
can you just review for the public that may watch this, what the tax budget is in comparison to what at the start of the process, rather than, this is not the budget of the county, that's something we do in December. But could you just give an overview so that the public understands this part of the process?
Yeah, the important aspect of the tax budget is governments cannot spend money that they don't have. However, throughout the year, money comes in periodically. And so the tax budget serves as notice to the Budget Commission that, number one, we need the taxes that we have levied on the public. And if your tax budget doesn't demonstrate that, the Budget Commission can actually reduce taxes as they see necessary. If you demonstrate the need, the Tax Budget Commission approves the taxes, as well as certifying the revenues that we're fairly sure we're going to get. And that's why our revenues are always a little bit on the conservative side. What that does then is it allows the commissioners to budget up to that number for the following year, rather than having to wait each month as revenue comes in and budget it. You have one lump sum that you can budget throughout the entire year. And then throughout the year, the revenue collections are reviewed to make sure that they are keeping pace with that expectation. And if they are, then nothing is done. If they aren't, then revenues can actually be decertified, and the commissioners would have to reduce their budgets at that point. We've never reached that point, and I don't suspect we will in the coming year. But that is the budget purpose of the tax budget, to establish reliable revenues that are reviewed by the treasurer, the auditor, and the prosecutor's office, to make sure that the commissioners are not over-promising funds to various departments that might not be coming in.
And in what way is this document reflective of concerns we have about revenue going forward?
Yeah, we are anticipating a little bit of a loss, although I do project somewhat of a recovery occurring in the middle of 2021. Generally speaking, our revenues are our certification is well under our actual revenues, to the extent of 2 or 3 million. Again, we want to be conservative because what we get certified, we want to make sure we're actually going to bring in. One thing this tax budget does is it does bring that gap a little bit closer. So rather than dropping the certifications way down, I still think they're very reasonable figures, but I also think they're much closer to what we're actually expecting to get. And so as I make recommendations towards the actual budgeting side of things, we're going to have less leeway, less playroom with these figures, and we're going to have to be a little bit more cautious about things like contingency funding, et cetera, because we are much, much closer this time to what we're probably really going to earn.
Okay. Thanks,
Okay.
Todd.
Thanks, Todd. Do we have a motion to adjourn
So moved.
the public hearing?
Yeah, I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Move to adopt the county's tax budget for year 2021.
Do we have to add in there with the addition?
Oh, yes. Todd was going to go over that, I think. Todd?
Yeah, I would just say that you are approving the tax budget with incorporation of the comments made during the public hearing. And then you do have the attachment that would go with the resolution that does have the revised figures currently in it.
Okay. Move to adopt the county's tax budget for year 2021, taking into consideration the comments and the modifications done by our Director of Budget and Finance.
Okay, I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd. Are you gonna stick
Thank you.
around? No, he's not. Okay. So we have some miscellaneous items, is that right? Just a few. Let's take care of those before the
Yes.
joint public hearing. Jean, you don't have any items today, is that correct?
That's correct.
You know, I don't
Okay,
have anything
thank you.
miscellaneous on my sheets. Do we have miscellaneous?
I just found it. I
Yeah.
didn't see it at first.
Oh, I don't have it.
Very last page should be.
Yeah,
The very last page, I've got the hearing is the last thing. The executive.
it was right underneath the packet for the public hearing for our tax budget. Vicky, it's only like one page.
Well, go ahead, Sabrina, do that one.
Okay.
But I don't-
Okay. I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approves the July 2nd, 2020 regular meeting minutes.
Second?
Roll call, Amy?
Sabrina,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners receive the June 30th, 2020 amended certificate of estimated resources for the year beginning January 1st, 2020, as submitted by the Portage County Budget Commission.
Second?
Roll call, Amy?
Sabrina,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes.
Make a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the June 30th, 2020 certificate of the county auditor that the total appropriations from each fund do not exceed the official estimate resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2020, as presented by the Portage County Auditor.
Second?
Roll call, Amy?
Sabrina,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes.
In accordance with Ohio Revised Code 311.20, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges the receipt of the Portage County Sheriff's monthly jail reports for expenditures and food costs for the prisoners for June 2020.
Second?
Roll call, Amy?
Sabrina,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes. All right, that's it there. Let's stand at ease for 5 minutes for the start of the final public hearing today.
You can actually adjourn, and that's a separate board.
So we can adjourn here. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Roll call, Amy?
Sabrina,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes. Amy, who all do we have that will be attending?
I don't know if they're all sitting under one email or,
Okay. I'm gonna send Mr. Roby another invite.
Yeah. That looks like Jim Dvorak's on.
Right, she's gonna send you another invite. Okay.
is there just one commissioner from Jaga?
So far,
Okay, thank you. Good morning.
morning.
Hey, baby.
Hello. Yes.
I understand.
Okay, Ralph and Tim are on now. Hey, Tim.
Morning.
And
I understand what's, let me see if I can.
I think on the side of your computer, you click on either unmute and then there's video and stuff like that. I'm on my wife's computer. It's an Apple, so it,
All right, let me go to another system.
yes. Okay. Okay. Let me text her and then somebody will call you and get you. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me tell somebody to do that. Okay, bye.
That's Todd.
Hang on, they're looking at.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Ralph just called. He wants a phone number. If somebody could text him a phone number, he can see and hear everybody, but he can't communicate. So,
You might have to let him into the meeting, right?
yeah,
Yes,
I don't know who's the
In the
host.
waiting room,
Yeah,
Amy?
it's me,
If
but
he's in the waiting room, he wouldn't be able to see us though,
Yeah.
and hear us.
I was in the same thing.
He can hear you and see you. But he
Yeah,
just wants to be connected so he can speak.
doesn't.
let me get him on the phone.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is he still in the waiting room or not? Or did he hang up?
No,
Oh,
We're in
he
the waiting
called.
room. Could
Him and I
you
just hung
see
up.
and hear us?
Mhm.
He's got to turn his video on and his,
speaker.
yeah,
Yeah. He's muted right now.
right. Let me see if I can get a hold of him. Ralph, he's a computer whiz. We're all becoming computer whizzes here.
No, Mr. Roby's still trying to get in.
Okay, so we don't see him. Okay.
Not yet.
There we go. Looks like he's showing up on the thing. He's just not, I don't see his, hey, Ralph. Hey,
I can log on, I can see the meeting, I'm in the meeting, no problem.
okay,
Just have the
yeah.
number, be able to communicate with the phone.
So it sounds like Ralph did the same thing I did. He hooked up to the webinar. Is it looking like he needs to be let into the meeting?
No,
No. Okay, it's showing that you're up there. Is there in the bottom left corner, there should be a video, stop video?
Yep.
Yep. Is that there or no?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, well,
I just don't have a video on. So that I can be able
I think it's his end.
Yeah.
oh,
to with my phone
I see.
to be able to talk.
I see what you're saying. You don't have video at all on the computer you're on. Okay,
Correct.
okay.
Okay.
I can just set my cell phone up next to the.
Yeah, we could just set the cell phone up. I can just keep you on here if you want.
Okay, that, if you don't mind, then that would be good.
Okay,
Okay, go.
all right.
So
Or unless you want to, do you want him to call in, Amy?
I mean, if we can,
We need to hear him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a little easier if he would just call in.
All right, Amy, why don't we have him call in? What's the number you can call?
You call into 298-4246.
42. You got it? Okay, perfect. Okay, thanks. Yeah, bye.
Yeah. Jean's got Mr. Roby on the phone.
Very good. I think Ralph's got a computer that's like older. It must not have the camera or whatever.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, it's Ralph, how are you?
Good, how are you? Yeah, be on speaker.
Good. Sounds good.
Boy, that's a little bit of a, little bit of a echo. Oh, let's try this. Okay, I guess we should be
Ready
ready.
to go?
We have superintendent with us.
He's on the phone with Jean, isn't he?
Yes, Dave's here.
Okay.
Okay. So I will call this public hearing for the proposed fiscal year 2021 Portage Geauga Joint Board of Commissioners tax budget hearing to order. This public hearing is being held for the Portage Geauga Joint Juvenile Detention Center's proposed fiscal year 2021 tax budget. The tax budget has been on display in the Portage County Commissioner's Office, the Portage County Auditor's Office, the Geauga County Commissioner's Office, the Portage County Administration Building's vestibule area, and online. In addition, notice of the public hearing was published in the Record Courier and the Geauga County Maple Leaf newspaper. Now we will hear some comments from Superintendent Roby, Portage Geauga Juvenile Detention Center.
Good morning, how is everybody?
Well, thank you.
Good, thank you.
So, as you can see, the budget that we are proposing this year is probably roughly 15% reduction in what we requested the prior year. We continue to do our due diligence in cutting cost, trying to find ways not to duplicate services, and obviously expand upon the services that we provide internally. So, as I indicated, last year's budget was $2.8 million. This year, we are $2.5 million. I still think that we have some work to be done, that we can still continue to lower costs. One of the things that we've been dealing with Geauga County is there appears to be some duplication of services in terms of a lot of the kids that they're dealing with that are either pre or post adjudicated. They're doing a lot of assessments with some agencies in the local area. We've discussed this with Judge Grandel and indicated that money that he's already allocating to the detention center can be used to do those kind of assessments. So there's not a duplication of services, and the money that's already being allocated to us could be used to get those type of assessments done. So what does that mean? Well, we are hiring a licensed clinician. It's not going to be a new position, but it's going to be a position that was previously vacated that will be repurposed to provide for greater services internally. So we hope to reduce some of that redundancy that's already occurring in Geauga County. As I indicated, when I first sat in on the commissioners meeting, I'm a fiscally conservative individual. I believe that one of my primary jobs is obviously maintaining safety and security, but also is to be good steward of taxpayers' dollars and make sure that the money is being allocated is being used in the best possible way in moving forward. So again, I welcome any questions, comments, concerns, and again, I thank everybody.
Did we receive any public comments, Amy, or do we have any questions? No public comments received via email or mail.
That's right.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Second,
Roll call, Amy?
Sabrina,
Yes.
Vicky,
yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jim.
Jim.
Jim DeVore, yes.
Okay.
Move the approval of the December 19, 2019 draft meeting minutes.
Okay. I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Ralph, Tim,
Yes.
and Jim.
Yes.
Move to establish regular meetings of the Joint Board of Commissioners.
Okay. I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
and Jim.
Yes.
Move to adopt the for year 2021 operating tax budget for the Portage Geauga County Juvenile Detention Center.
Okay, I will.
Be-
Oh, go ahead, Tim.
Okay. Oh, go ahead. So we got a motion, in discussion. I just wanted to be clear that the correction had been made. The initial portion for Geauga County was incorrect, I believe, and that it has been corrected. Is that, does everyone agree with that? It was off
Say it
by,
again,
I
Dave.
think, it was off by, I don't know, a couple of $100,000 or something.
Where did you see
Correct.
that at?
You know,
Right.
that may tie into my question for number 4, that 319,000, should I have been able to find that? 319,780, because I didn't find all of that. It had 2 asterisks beside it, but it came out to be like 19,900 something rather than the,
No, that Vicky just goes into the 2020 operating. It was that much more, and it's an asterisk explaining. If you look at the first line for the cash balance January 1st.
right? But that still doesn't tie into the 319. Oh, I see, the 206
Yeah, it does.
and the
Yeah.
15. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, okay, let's see. 319 payment received
So
from
that
Geauga
has been
County.
corrected, correct? I mean, right?
Corrected appropriations made in 2020.
Yeah, the payment just hit in 2020.
Hey, Ralph, are you still there?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about? What Jerry was, remember, he brought this up. I think you guys had a meeting about it, didn't you?
Yeah, and I was trying to look at, I was trying to look at where the discrepancy was, Tim, as you were talking, going through the, trying to recall what it is.
I mean, it might have been something simple that was corrected, but I know we found the numbers that we initially on the proposed tax budget for review when we got it. It was off. It was off considered like by a lot, and I don't have that in front of me, but I'm assuming. I don't know if anyone else has been contacted about it. Maybe the director knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Mr. Roby's still on?
That was an individual that was our fiscal officer who departed us very quickly, and we could not find that budget. The original budget that was adopted by the Board of Trustees, after her departure, we could not find that. So we literally had to go in and rebuild the whole entire budget from scratch. So that budget that you received, unbeknownst to us, because that employee is no longer here, was not the original budget that the Board of Trustees approved. So again, we had to go through the whole entire budget, make sure that it was correct and accurate, which is what we did prior to that person's departure. And what you have before you is an absolutely corrected version of what we believe the budget is.
Okay.
Right. Here's,
Which which is a good thing because even the budget that was originally approved was probably $100,000 more than what this is. And again, I recognize that the Geauga County portion was off. Yeah.
Yeah, it was off. You know, I don't know the dollar amount exactly, but it was pretty big. You know, it was like.
I'll call the
Yeah.
amount ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. So you're comfortable now, this budget now, I'm just going to be honest. I have not had time to review this one in detail. I know our administrator did and kind of gave us the highlights, but
I'll
give me the highlights.
kind of go through my initial steps of what I did. Okay.
Yeah.
So I went through all actual personnel costs, and I just added a 2.5% increase just to provide a buffer to make sure that we're safe in that regard. Maureen Bennett with Portage County graciously helped us go through. We looked through the last 3 years' expenses. We did an average of those 3 years' expenses in terms of forecasting what our needs would be. So again, what we did is we went through step by step, line by line, and adjusted based upon what our actual known expenses were for the last 3 years and projected based upon that.
Okay.
I would go so far as to say most of the things that we actually budgeted, we decreased, except for, of course, benefits, which Portage County advised us that we could see anywhere from a 6 to 7% increase.
Sure. So what's your current attendance like right now? How's it been with this whole thing, this shutdown and everything? I mean, are you pretty slow over there?
We've ranged for average of 10 to 15 kids.
Okay.
And again, I know there's some concern that I've heard about that, and being a juvenile justice professional for 25 years, you know, I understand that individuals see the investment as being high, but what I would indicate to you is that we will continue to cut costs as we see fit. But the fact that juvenile delinquency is down should be applauded by all individuals.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sorry, what's your name again? I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Director?
Sorry?
I'm sorry, what's we haven't met yet, I don't think, have we?
Who am I speaking with?
This is Tim Lennon from Geauga County, Commissioner.
Yeah, I've met you before. I actually interviewed for your transportation director position.
That's right. That's right.
You indicated that I should have probably went to law school.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I do remember. That. Yeah.
But I'm actually glad I probably didn't. I don't know. Saved me a lot of money.
Yeah, you're back. You're back in the biz, you know, here.
I'm back in it.
So are we comfortable moving forward?
Talk to you again, by the way.
Okay. Ralph.
I would.
Ralph, do you have anything to say, Ralph?
Moving forward, because you know, we basically looking at numbers and giving him a total of number of 15 people. We're basically at 15 people with the budget that we're looking at. We're basically at $444 a day per kid. This is just, I know that we keep on talking about this and we're beating this to death, but the reality is we can't continue to burden taxpayers with this. And when it drops below $15, we're getting, or 15 people within the facility, we're getting to a point that this is climbing over $500 a day. I mean, this is ludicrous for Portage to be spending this. This is ludicrous for Geauga to be spending this. But even more so on Geauga's side is, I don't know what is the number that you have for the person that's in, how many people do you have right now for Geauga County?
Oh, I don't have that information right in front of me here at this moment.
I'll take a wild guess.
I can get it to you. I mean, I guess, Commissioner, what would be your other option in terms of dealing with juvenile delinquencies in both counties?
Well, I guess the situation is that I can't give you just an answer, and I know that, we had started to talk about this, and we were going to try to set up a time, that we were gonna have the ability of sitting down with the board, and then we got in a situation that the whole COVID, thing happened, and nobody wanted to physically meet. I actually had tried to put a phone call over to, one of the board members. I can't recall what his name was. I know that there was a question with him as far as even residency on this last run here of him being on the board and possibly having an address out in Illinois. But there was never any follow-up on this. But the reality is, continue to justify.
I mean, the only other option that you're going to do is you're going to contract your services out to another facility and pay somebody else on a per diem basis. So what I would indicate to you is that, yes, you would not be allocating money up front to be able to provide that service, but then you're also going to lose significant ability of whether or not you're going to have bed space available. Are they going to take your juvenile at the time that you need them taken? It's not as easy. I understand your concern, Commissioner, for sure. It's not as easy to say, well, we just don't like spending the money, so we need to do something different.
That's not what he's saying.
The only
That's not what he's
option
saying.
that you're going to do is you're going to find another facility that's even further away from where you are now, and you're going to contract your services out, and you're going to be able to pay per service, but you're going to lose total control over the elected official, the judge, having the ability to place a kid in an area, because then the other facility is going to say, yeah, I'll hold these 10 beds available for you, but if I got somebody else that needs to go into that bed, I'm going to put somebody into that bed.
That's not, no.
So one way, shape, or form, you're going to have to pay money to reserve the bed space.
Yeah, I mean, do you think $500 or $600 a night is average?
For juvenile delinquents, where you can just call and make a reservation and say, hey, I just happen to have a kid at this time. Can you book them for this evening? That's just not going to happen.
Well, I guess my question to you is, what have you done and I know that when we had this conversation originally, you were kind of brand new into the game and just trying to just get acclimated and trying to gather up all the information you could to figure out where exactly we could be with this. But the reality is, where are we at with, like, what have you done as far as looking at the personnel levels that we have at the facility right now? Can we make some changes there? Can we reduce some of the workforce that's just not, possibly needed? Some of the other, contract services and some of the things that we've got. I mean, and here's the other thing. Is there a possibility that you would have, and listen, I'm not asking you to talk yourself out of, to find yourself out of a job. But the reality is like, what other options have you been looking at? Because it's something that you've got to be concerned about.
You're breaking up significantly.
What is it that you have also done to look into to be able to figure out another solution?
Well, what I can tell you is that I've been here for 7 months and I've reduced the budget by 15% already. So last year we were at 2.8 million. This year we put in 2.5 million. And again, I can continue to tell you that we're going to continue to move in that regard. Everybody here in this facility is a classified employee. So they're actual civil service protected by the State Board of Personnel Services. That's a wrinkle that I'm currently looking at as well. Again, I would gently remind everybody that detention services is a mandated service that must be provided. And again, the discussions that were previously had with the elected officials, you know, I cannot mandate the elected official, either Judge Berger or Judge Grandel, to accept kids from other counties or to repurpose it. As I indicated in my first meeting, when we looked at opening up this facility for Title IV funds, nobody's going to approve this facility being locked and providing those services. So then you say to yourself, well, you're going to have a facility, you're going to split it down the middle and have a locked facility on one side and an unlocked facility on the other side. I mean, me personally, if you're going to ask me as a juvenile justice professional, I think $400,000 might seem like a lot of money, which I agree with that it is. But I also believe it's an investment for the community. That if you have somebody that a judge believes is a threat to the safety and security, that's not a bad investment.
It's not a bad investment if we're utilizing it. I mean, how many kids did we have last year, or how many kids do we have now per night? Your
percentage went up from last year, so you guys are at 18%, which is an increase from last year. I believe the discussions that we've had with Judge Grandel and repurposing the facility and getting somebody clinically trained in here is going to allow him to use us in a much greater fashion in terms of doing alcohol and drug assessments, sex offender assessments, mental health assessments, which is what he indicates that he's currently paying people in the community in Geauga County to do. And what my recommendation to him is that we can do that for you already with the money that you're allocating to our facility. And I think he's in agreement with that.
Well, that sounds like a good thing. I guess, if we were just a customer off the street, looking to contract out with other counties and their facilities, I don't think we'd be getting charged $600 a night, right? I mean, we can all probably agree on that, or even maybe 500. I mean, from what I've heard from Judge Grandel, he's looked around on this. He's heard anywhere from $250 to $300 a night is kind of maybe more realistic. Us being an equity partner in this thing,
send me where you got those numbers from.
That's from Grandel.
That's from me where you got your.
That's from Tim Grandel. That's from Judge Grandel.
Look at that.
That's from Judge Grandel. Yeah.
And
but
I will gladly ask any commissioner to come with me, take a tour, and I will show you the services that we need to provide. Again, this isn't the sheriff's department.
No, I get it. I get it.
Educational services. We have to provide medical services. We are actually treating kids that are young and still developing. And there are certain things that we have to provide that an adult jail does not have to provide. So again, what we're looking to do is to become very lean and very mean, and making sure that the money that you're allocating, that I can point to a specific role, a specific function, and a specific obligation that we're required to provide.
Do you have
I just like you.
Sure.
Again,
do you have the numbers?
Budget,
do you have how many bed nights Geauga County used last year? Do you have how many?
From a taxpayer's perspective, I look at it from an elected official perspective. I do have your considerations in mind when I make a budget recommendation. I get it. Money's tight for everybody. And we're going to continue to do our due diligence of making sure that we're getting what we need to get from our budget. Now, there's always a catch-22 with juvenile court. I know that none of the elected officials or anybody that works with kids is hoping for more kids to be detained. That's a terrible thing. I agree with you that, quote unquote, we need obviously it would be nice to be able to provide more services. That's what I'm talking to the elected officials about. But I'm not going to be going and getting a truck and running around all the counties and asking for more customers.
No,
But
I
do
think,
agree with you
sir,
that
sir,
I
sir,
need to be
sir, can you
talking
hear
to the
me?
Judges and saying, listen, when
Can you hear
do
me?
have a young person before you, there is a service
Hello?
that you already have money allocated towards that we can provide the services that maybe you are providing in the community, i.e.
Sir,
assessments.
sir, can you hear us okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I appreciate what you're saying, and we're in total agreement that it's important to take care of children. That's not what do you have the bed counts for Geauga County from last year? Do you have those available?
All I have before me is budget information. I don't have that right before me. My apologies.
Okay, so that's been the conversation prior to you coming on board here. That's been what we've been talking about is per bed night, per Geauga County, how many we're putting in on an annual basis. And I would guess, take a stab, juvenile detention is going down as far as Judge Grindell is. He's not placing them in detention as much as he used to. So I would guess to say we have anywhere from 0 to maybe 2 in detention. And I'm just taking a guess right now.
Okay.
And so us being an equity partner in this has been the question. And this has been a question since I came on board 4 years ago. And same with the other commissioners from Portage County and Geauga County. This has been talked about for years now. Being, you know, as a customer versus an equity share partner in this budget. Those are two different things. And we are trying to weigh the financial prudence of paying X amount of dollars for a declining enrollment in that number. So we need to justify if we're going to continue to do this year in and year out. That's been the question.
Well, again, what I'm going to ask you is, what's your other option?
Well, there's other detention centers out there, I guess, or we don't need to be a partner in this going forward as an equity share partner in the budget, and we'll contract out with other detention
Where are
centers.
you going to contract a mandated service in the state of Ohio? Juvenile detention is a mandated service.
I understand that. And we can do, you know, we've looked into it. There's other detention centers we can send them to. And again, it's a declining system. You know, we're sending more kids to residential than we are to detention. Very few is Judge Grindell sending to detention.
Yeah, you're gonna find this. You're gonna find the same thing in every county, in every detention center.
Mm-hmm. Not being an equity share partner in it.
You can go to per diem route, but then again, the possibility that you're going to face there is, when you need a bed, are you going to have a bed?
Well, that's something we got to figure out, because, you know, we're not going to sit here and go the gold-plated package just to have bed space either. You know, we got to figure this out with the judge, and, you know, he's been of the mind to look for an alternative in this. And I mean, again, this is about the 4th year that I've kicked the can on this budget. And we are this board, what we're doing here really means nothing. I've never quite understood what our purpose is here. You know, it's a 3-legged dog, this committee reviewing this budget. All we do is rubber stamp it every year and in and out. And that's why we're at where we're at. And really, it's the board of trustees. It's the board of.
He fully supports the detention center's vision. He indicates that he supports where we're going, and he believes that we can reduce some of the duplicated services that are in his county. And, you know, I understand where you're coming from, Commissioner. You know, the way he's explained it to me is that he's an independent, separate branch of government. This is the budget that he's requested and approved. And, you know,
that's fine.
I'm not an elected official. I certainly appreciate your concern.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with the things that you say per se. What I would indicate that, you know, my perspective would indicate that your investment in this facility is an investment in juveniles within your county.
Okay. All right, so we had a motion on the floor to approve this budget.
Let's stand at ease for just a quick moment.
And again, I would offer anybody an invitation to come down to meet with me individually and take a tour of the facility.
David, are you open for questions right now?
Oh, I'm still here. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I thought somebody said something else. I didn't know what. I thought somebody said they were leaving or something.
well, this is
Said
Jim
we were
DeBoer.
standing at ease, but Jim, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. David, could you explain a couple situations where the duplication of services? Could you go into detail on something?
Well, what I was indicating is that what Geauga County indicates to me is that typically, instead of getting some kind of assessment done within this facility, right? So you have a juvenile delinquent that might need a drug assessment, or you might need a sex offender assessment. For some reason, and again, this is prior to my arrival, there may have been reluctancy, or there wasn't the ability, or it just was not indicated that could be done here. And what the discussions I've had with Judge Brendel is that you've already allocated money to this detention center, so why would you not be using that? Why would you not be using this service to get the assessments that you need to have completed? So, for instance, he might have a sex offender that he has within Geauga County, and he sends them out for a $1,500 sex offender assessment, when in fact you can have that assessment done here. So the money is already allocated here. He's already allocated X number of dollars to this facility. So why would we not have the ability to get that kind of assessment done here versus allocating the money here already and then having to spend that kind of money towards another agency? Same thing goes forward for any mental health assessment, any drug assessment. This should be a one-stop shop. The way I envision this facility is that it really should be seen as an emergency room. It should be seen as a triage. You have an individual that is some way, shape, or form has something going on with them that causes them to enter into the juvenile justice system. We should have the ability to triage them and find out what's going on with those various assessments. That's the duplication of service that I've talked with Judge Brendel, and he believes that we can reduce that service and save the money that's being, kind of already allocated in Geauga County, and have that money, that's allocated here while completing those kind of assessments.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we do have the motion on the floor. I don't believe we had a second, did we, Amy?
No.
I'll go ahead and second. Let's roll call.
Vicky,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yeah.
Tim,
Yes.
and Jim.
Yes,
Move that we amend the annual appropriation resolution number 19-004 dated December 19, 2019.
Does anyone have any comments on that?
Well, is this the resolution for the 319?
It is.
Yes.
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 Yeah. This was a pay-in that crossed over the calendar year that was put into the capital fund mistakenly, and it just needs to be moved into the general fund. That's all.
Okay. I'll second.
Roll call.
Vicky,
Yes.
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 Kathleen,
Oops, sorry, yes.
Ralph, Tim,
Yes.
and Jim.
Yes.
Move to appoint to the Portage Geauga County Joint Board of Trustees Mark A. Harrison, replacing Hank T. Gibson for term July 1, 2020 through May 31, 2025.
Okay, I will second.
Roll call.
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Move to acknowledge the receipt of the December 23, 2019 certificate of county auditor that the total appropriations from each fund do not exceed the official estimate of resources for the year beginning January 1, 2020.
Okay, I will second.
Roll call, Amy.
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Move to acknowledge the receipt of the January 28, 2020 amended official certificate of estimated resources for the year beginning January 1, 2020.
Okay, I will second.
Roll call, Amy.
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Move to acknowledge the receipt of the third and fourth quarter 2019 population per diem as presented by Superintendent David Roby.
Okay, I will second.
Roll call, Amy.
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Move to acknowledge the receipt of the June 12, 2020 correspondence from Henry Gibson to Portage County, Judge Robert Berger resigning from the Board of Trustees effective immediately.
Okay, I will second.
Roll call, Amy.
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Amy, did we get anything from Chris regarding this Harold Brown's residence being in Illinois?
Yeah. Yeah. She sent it to us yesterday.
Okay.
According to what I read, Chris said that it's still okay. Kathleen, did you take it that way? Did you see it?
Yeah, our prosecutor's opinion is that as long as one member resides in the county of our appointments, then this appointment is fine. So we don't have an issue with this trustee on the board.
Good.
Well, are you talking about the individual that has the out of state address?
Yes.
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 Yeah, I've talked with Judge Berger about that. You know, he's really not elaborated, but I know that individual has some significant medical issues. So I think what Judge Berger indicates that his time on the board is limited. So I would expect another recommendation to fill that seat coming fairly quickly.
Okay.
Okay. I move to adjourn.
Real quick, Mr. Director, is there any way you could send me the numbers for Portage County and then the numbers for Geauga County as far as you know what the numbers were last year as far as residents from Geauga, the kids from Geauga that were there?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe that didn't you guys just talk about adopting that? Didn't they say something about the 2009 population? So I'm not sure if you got that as a part of your packet already.
Yeah, that was in there.
Is it in that? Was it in there? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and it gives the breakdown of male, females, and which county.
Okay, okay, great. I'll go find that.
Yeah, it's from
Thank you.
August to December.
I'm in session.
August to December, okay. Thank you. Okay, motion to
I'll
adjourn. was on
second
the
the
table. I'll
motion to adjourn. Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Kathleen? Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Sabrina,
Okay.
Yes.
Ralph,
Yep.
Tim?
Yep,
Yeah.
I'd like to conclude
Yeah.
by indicating that I would welcome any commissioner calling me, wanting to set up a meeting, whatever you would like to do to review any of the numbers. You want to walk through the facility. I am welcome to do that once again at any time. I know we have another board meeting in August. I think Judge Grandel is going to have it somewhere in Geauga County. I'm not really sure, but you know, if you want to be invited to the Board of Trustees, I can certainly bring that up to the judges and to the board members. But I hope everybody knows that my approach is to be very open and engage in dialogue, and I'm here for whatever anybody needs from me in moving forward.
awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your week. Take care. Stay safe.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay.